Hey guys, welcome back to the Crochet with Kelsey channel. I missed you guys so much since last time, and if you're here, if you're a subscriber, I just want to say thank you because we're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and to me that is just completely surreal that almost 1,000 people want to watch these silly little videos with this guy and me talking about stuff and showing you my plushies. Anyway, let's get to the point. In this video today, I'm going to be talking all things pattern testing, from getting chosen for a pattern test to what the do's and don'ts of pattern testing are. Before we dive right into it, I feel like I haven't shown my plushies off in a while, and I've been doing a lot of pattern tests lately. So I'm just gonna take a moment to show you what I've made and who I tested it for. So hopefully you like it. First off, we have this finger puppet bearded dragon from the Crochet Carpenter. It's super cute and it works up really fast. And it's a finger puppet. It goes on your finger. And it attacks Mr. Max. Oh, and he hates it. Next, we have this gorgeous little Jubilee the Dragon from Posy Creates. It's a little snuggler and it's super cute. I also recently finished Juvia the Rain Dragon from Holly's Yarn Creations. And this is a really unique one that just really stands out. I know I don't make a lot of animals anymore, but I couldn't say no to testing this one. It's a bear in a onesie! It's so cute. And this is a test that I did for Sweet Pea Plush. It's super surreal to test for her because she was one of the first accounts that I ever followed on Instagram when I started as just a little wee one. So it was really cool to get to test for her. Her animals are so cute. Oh, and the hood comes off. It's so cute. I love it. I also got to test this Aquarius for Red Mills Crochet. I love everything that Millie makes, and this is no exception. It's so cute and unique, and I really like it a lot. And I also recently finished this little Neptune the Dragon Snuggler from Zero Gravity Crochet. This one is so cute, and I used a smaller weight yarn, so it turned out super tiny. It's little, it can fit in my hand, just like that. Last but not least, I think this is my favorite plushie that I've made this year. And it's a giant Flygon snuggler. It is so freaking cute though. It's so detailed. And this was a test for Bunnies and Beasts. And I'm really sad because it already sold and I actually have to get it packed up tonight, but it's so beautiful and I just wanted to document it in this video before it goes to its forever home. But it's also going to be joining me in the video today, just because I really like it so much. Those are the pattern tests that I've recently completed, and now what we have on the agenda is talking about how to get chosen for a pattern test. Whenever I'm choosing testers for a pattern test, there's 3 things that I look for. The first thing is the photos that you use on your feed. If your photos show off your plushies in a nice way, and you have good lighting, then you're probably on the right track. As someone who doesn't have a lot of outdoor space to take photos, you know, I just use the backdrop. That is my fence in my backyard. But since I have that natural light, it's okay. So if I see somebody applies to my pattern test and I click on their profile and I see that they just throw their plushies on a bed in their dark bedroom, there's probably no chance that you're getting picked. Whatever you post on Instagram, just put a little bit of effort into it if you're trying to get picked for these pattern tests, because that is the #1 thing that pattern designers look for. They want someone that's going to show off the finished plushie in a way that looks very nice, and you'll be able to tell what pattern you're looking at and you're not having to squint like Is that a dog? Another thing that I always look for is your level of crocheting. So if my pattern that I'm having a test for is more of an advanced pattern, and I've seen that you've only made some easier, maybe no sew patterns, and my pattern requires a lot of sewing, the odds are that you probably need to build your Instagram portfolio and work on some more patterns that are more advanced to be able to get chosen for pattern tests that are advanced, beginner, intermediate, or advanced levels. That's the first thing I always look for. I just look at the feed and see if the photos are nice or not. So if you're trying to get picked for pattern tests and you're wondering why you're not getting picked, maybe just take a look at your feed and see if your plushies are displayed in the best way possible. And if not, maybe consider using natural lighting next time, finding a better backdrop, even if that means possibly buying something, or getting some artificial light like a canvas lamp or a ring light. There's a lot of different ways to still make your photos look good even if you don't have a great natural light setup. The second thing that I look for is someone who can follow instructions. So in each pattern test post, so in each of my pattern testing posts, I have a little list with things that you must do to apply. And this list has about 4 things. It says, follow me, like, save, and share this post to your story. Comment something. I usually switch this up every time to keep people on their toes. I say to also tag a friend, or if you don't have any crochet friends yet, you can tag me. And then the last thing is sometimes I say like, what color will you make this? Or what theme will you do? What type of yarn will you use? And the reason that I do all that isn't for engagement. So that's just how I do things. So keep that in mind if you're trying to test more patterns and you're wondering, why am I not getting picked? It could be because you're skipping through everything. With that in mind, if you are going to skip through a pattern and you're not going to look really closely at it for typos and mistakes, don't apply for the pattern test in the first place. The third thing that I always look for is to see if you're giving proper credit to pattern designers already. So what this means is that I'm going to go to your profile, I'm going to look at a few of your posts and just make sure that you're tagging the pattern designer and giving credit where it's due. Because as a pattern designer, I do not want someone just posting like, I made this. I want people saying, you know, I made this and I used this person's pattern, because pattern designing is a lot of work and it's nice to credit the designer, and pretty much all crochet patterns say that you should credit the designer, because even though like a lot of people don't go through the lengths of actually copywriting these things, like it is intellectual property. So let's say I'm a crocheter and I see your post saying I made this and I really like the pattern, I want to know where to get it. So as a pattern designer who's trying to sell more patterns, I want to make sure that my testers are crediting me where it's due to hopefully raise brand awareness for my pattern. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about are some do's and don'ts of pattern testing that I've learned throughout my 2+ years of testing and writing patterns. The first do is you're going to want to thoroughly look through every single word of the pattern. You're receiving this pattern for free to help out the pattern designer, to make sure that it's perfect for other people who pay for the pattern. So as a pattern tester, it's your job to comb through it to your best ability. The second thing that you should do, and I've actually run into this myself before, is ask the questions even if you think that they sound stupid. Even if you're at a more beginner level than other people in the testing group, ask the questions, because if you have a question whenever you're testing the pattern, odds are people that buy the pattern down the line are going to have the exact same problem. So always be sure to raise any and all concerns, and always ask the pattern designer any questions about anything that you're confused about, because in the end, it's going to help them down the line. Another thing you should do as a pattern tester is always finish your tests on time. If you can't finish a test on time, Don't apply for the tester call because a lot of times pattern designers have very set schedules that they try to stick to. And although this isn't my primary source of income, it is other people's. So it's very important to stay on track with that. And if you don't think you can finish on time, it's better to just buy the pattern when it comes out. Now let's get into the down. So one of my biggest pet peeves ever is whenever somebody doesn't get picked for a pattern test and then they DM you or comment on your post saying, oh man, I really thought I was gonna get picked this time. That just kind of makes me not want to pick you. If you do this, it can get a little frustrating for the pattern designer just because we already have to choose out of so many people. So just because you didn't pick doesn't mean that your work isn't good. It just means that it wasn't your time, and you'll get a time at some point, especially if you do the things that I talk about earlier in this video. But don't get down if you didn't get picked for a pattern test. Every pattern designer has different reasons why they choose who they choose, and I told you mine, but another designer might have some different criteria that they look for. If you're doing that, the odds that I'm gonna pick you just because I feel bad because you sent a message are slim to none. Another thing that you shouldn't do as a pattern tester is try to modify the pattern in any way without making sure with the pattern designer first, because odds are the pattern designer wants the pattern to be made exactly to the instructions that are provided. So if they don't have any, build your own or modify this however you want, get creative with it, then it's probably your best bet to just follow the pattern as directed, because whenever people are looking to buy a pattern and they see the pattern tester photos and they see something that's modified that isn't in the pattern, it can cause some issues down the line with the pattern designer getting questions about, how do I make this mod? And the answer is, we don't know. So just stick to the pattern as written, unless the designer encourages some creativity and mods. And also don't tell other testers to modify the pattern in some way just because you did. Just try not to modify it at all. Another thing that is a little bothersome for pattern designers is saying, oh, you should add this instruction in to make it beginner friendly. If the pattern is a more advanced level, so if it's listed as intermediate, then the pattern testers and the people that buy the pattern later down the line should already know how to do some of those more beginner things. So we don't want to write, another page saying how to do every single stitch just so that a beginner can do it. Also, don't say, oh, I think this pattern would be a lot better if you added this. Again, we kind of want you to just test the pattern as it is, as we made it, because at the end of the day, it's our pattern and we're proud of it and we like it the way it is. So suggesting these edits can come off as a little rude sometimes. Do not ghost on a pattern test. This has happened to me on multiple occasions. I go through the process of looking at every single person's page and try to pick the best testers to get the job done. And it's very frustrating whenever you have taken away an opportunity from someone else who wanted to test that would have got the test done on time, and you just can't finish the test, so you just completely ghost and never say anything to the pattern designer, and it's a little bit upsetting. So don't take away an opportunity from someone else who is going to be able to complete it in time if you know that you can't. If you're in the tester period and some major life event happens that you didn't foresee happening, reach out to the designer, let them know that you're probably not going to be able to finish anymore, and offer to buy the pattern. It's not fair if you're getting a pattern for free when you don't even complete the test, which is part of the criteria that you need to meet. So if for any reason you can't finish in time, buy the pattern, because that's the right thing to do. Anyway, me and Flygon hope that you really enjoyed this video, and if you think Flygon is cute whatsoever at all, please be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any tips for pattern testers that you think would be beneficial, please be sure to leave them in the comments, and me and Flygon will review them. And we'll see you next time. Bye!